What is going on? It has been a minute since I've talked to you guys in the car, but we're back. And today we're going to hit back at the Kamikaze Iron. Now, plan for today is to go hard as balls and to stop at nothing to get the most gnarly back pump we've ever seen. Now, bulk is still going strong. Food is flowing through the system. Pre-workout is coursing through my veins. And I'm just ready to get this lift in, to be honest. It has been quite the day for me. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but I need to get some aggression out in the gym. And I don't know about you guys, but the gym is a great place to go to just, if you're having a bad day, oh shit, well, that is not what you want. Hopefully you guys are okay. Are you guys good? None of you guys hurt? You in the back? All right, good. Anyway, if you're having a bad day and you say to yourself, you know what? I'm having a bad day. I'm going to stay home from the gym. I don't know what you're doing, man. The gym is there to help you. The gym is there to help you go through whatever it is you're going through. You know why? Because the gym has no emotional attachment to whatever you're doing. So, if your girl or your boyfriend, whoever you are, pissed you off, the gym doesn't care. Whatever, if you're deadlifting 400 pounds, 400 pounds. They don't care about your girlfriend or your boyfriend. If you dropped your bagel bites on the floor, the gym doesn't care. The weight is the weight. The 100 pounds is 100 pounds. So go to the gym, get some kind of workout in, and then you say, but it's not going to be as good of a workout as if I wasn't angry. Okay. Get the best workout that you can, because either way you look at it, no one has ever completed a workout and said, man, that's a workout I wish I didn't do. I wish I did not go to the gym today. You'll never say it. So that's really how you make results in the gym, is going day after day after day. And when you think about your life with all of the days that you could consider good or bad or just kind of meh, there's just another day on the calendar. Most of the time, it's going to be another day on the calendar. You're not going to have a highlight reel day and then just a absolute crapper of a day. And most of the time, we are applying our emotions to the day. So if you just look at it for whatever happened to you, you got a flat tire, okay, that's not, in the grand scheme of things, a good or a bad thing. A year from now, you're not going to be thinking about that tire. So, but it's what you do after you get the flat tire that's going to determine how the rest of your day goes. Now, it's easy to say this kind of stuff and it just be like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym no matter what happens. Sometimes life hits you and you're just not going to make it to the gym. That's okay. As soon as you're feeling like you're back to a good place, you might not be at 100%, but you can go get some kind of a workout in, just go. Because the more time you stay away from the gym, the more time it's going to take for you to get those results back or to keep progressing. So just go to the gym, train as hard as you can, get rid of this idea that every workout has to be better than the last one, numbers wise or rep wise or whatever it is that you're tracking. We wake up and we feel a certain way, and you're going to have different levels of effort on every given day. Ideally, we'd like to go up every single day, but that's not how life works all of the time. So we just got to give the best we can on every given day. And that's what I'm going to go do. And I'm going to go absolutely, once again, annihilate my back. Now, I've been on a fix with barbell rows and I've kind of been doing my heavy movements second. So I think we're going to do that today. I've been typically starting with some kind of machine row, just to get warmed up. With my warm-ups, I never have really been the biggest fan of hopping on a cable machine and throwing my shoulder this way and that way. I've always just kind of liked hopping on whatever movement I'm starting with and just doing light weight until everything starts feeling warm. Like if I'm doing a bench press, I'll just do however many sets with 135 until my shoulders are loosened up, my elbows have blood flowing in them, my chest is feeling nice and open. Because if that's what I'm starting with, I want the muscles I'm going to be using for that movement to be warm. I don't necessarily see any reason that my legs need to be warmed up if I'm hitting bench. So that's just how I've always done it, and that's how I'm going to continue to do it until I see another reason to do otherwise. But also, I've kind of been going back to doing a training style that I did a while back, probably at least over 6 months ago at this point. I wasn't really doing more than 2 sets per movement. Now, I've kind of changed things up from then, so I'll do 3 to 4 sets on some movements, but on the bigger movements, like a barbell row, I'll work up to a top set, and generally I'll try to hit more weight than I've ever done on that movement before. So I think last time I did 275, so I might throw 285 on there, maybe 295, and see what I can get. From there, lower the weight by about 20% or so, and then just do a back offset, and then we'll call it there. And then for the rest of my movements, if I'm not doing that kind of style where I work up to a top set and then one back offset, instead of a back offset, I might do same weight but do a drop set or a set intensifier of some kind, or I'll do go to a machine, do 3 or 4 sets, finish with a drop set or a rest pause. Really, I'm just trying to go as hard as I can on every single set. I don't think you necessarily need to go to failure every single set in order to get muscle growth, but I do think getting as close to it as you can on every set is going to help you more than it's going to hurt you. So that's what we're going to do. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble on, so you guys will see me at my first set of whatever it is I'm going to be doing. All right, so jumping into today's back workout, starting with barbell rows. This isn't the movement I wanted to start my workout with. I wanted to start with the machine row, and I ended up doing it second because somebody was on it when I got to the gym and I didn't feel like waiting, so I just went straight to the barbell rows. And I think it's important to point out, if somebody is using the machine or equipment that you want at any point during your workout, it's not really worth it, in my opinion, to sit around and wait for that piece of equipment to open up. Unless it's at the beginning of your workout, I could have sat around for 10 minutes or so and waited, but I just felt like getting straight into it. The pre-workout was flowing through my veins, and I didn't want any of it to go to waste. So your workout quality isn't necessarily dependent on the movements themselves, rather than how the movements are being performed. So don't let it throw you off too much. I know sometimes we come into the gym with an idea of how we want a session to look, and it can throw you off if you don't get to use the things that you want. But it's okay. We ended up making it to this machine anyway. I really like this machine. The handles move separate from each other. Sometimes I'll do it single arm, and then sometimes I'll do it both arms at a time, like I'm doing right here. I guess the difference would be what muscles I'm trying to hit. So when I do both of the handles at the same time, I kind of get more of a mid to upper back pump, whereas if I just do one handle at a time, I can really lean in and get my lats. So I really wanted to just work on growing my traps and my mid back, because that's an area I see a lack of development in for sure. I actually, for a long period of time, ignored doing any form of overhand rowing. I was experiencing some shoulder pain, as you guys have heard me say numerous times before, and it ended up just being a technique issue. So I've spent some time fixing the technique, but we're just kind of, letting the weight pull my lats forward on the way down, and then really pulling back and squeezing. Now, when you are doing any type of row, I try to think about pulling my elbow straight back behind me, and instead of pulling with my hand. So my hand is kind of just a hook on the handle, but I'm driving the weight back with my elbow, trying to almost imagine touching my elbows behind my back, if you can imagine that, to get a really good squeeze and pump in the back. You know what I'm saying? So moving on to some lat pull downs. Now, by the end of these, my forearms were on fire. And for whatever reason, with lat pull downs, I've always just had, I don't know if it's supposed to feel this way. I feel like everyone else has an easier time with these than me, but they've just never really felt great. They don't feel bad, but I've always just had difficulty trying to find the right movement pattern. But lately, I feel like I've found a good groove. And as you can see, my ass is coming off of the seat at the top of every rep. This doesn't really bother me because I'm getting a good squeeze at the bottom, and I would rather load more weight on my lats and have my ass come off the bench a little bit than not. I definitely get a better pump doing it this way than if I was to lower the weight and go slower. But that's really up to you. If you want to try to go slow and controlled and you get a better connection that way, by all means, do it that way. This is just what works for me and how I like to do it. We are throwing some drop sets into the mix just to get a little bit more intensity. I've actually reduced the amount of movements in my training lately by quite a bit, simply due to the fact that I'm trying out a more instinctive style of training. Definitely, following some kind of protocol around like 6 to 10 sets per workout, but I'm really just chasing a feeling of absolute muscular fatigue, which is what I achieved there. So anyway, moving on to the triceps, starting off with some single arm cable extensions here. The first set, I did about 25 reps per arm. Now, most of my sets typically don't have this many reps, but with triceps, I find it's very easy to put a lot of pressure on your elbow, and I have found that if my first few sets are with anything overhead, my elbows are going to be screaming for the rest of my lift. So I like to start with the single arm or some kind of push down and really just warm up the muscle as much as I can, but in a way that's going to start off by giving me a pump. That way, in my next sets, when weights get a little bit heavier, I am able to focus solely on my tricep instead of using my joints and tendons for the remainder of the sets. And that's the thing. I think for a long time, I would try to train every muscle as if they were the same. But not every muscle is the same. So we got to find different ways to train different muscles. And I wouldn't train legs like this necessarily, although I have before and it works. But I find my best leg workouts are when I start with something heavy and then kind of go lighter towards the end. Whereas with triceps, starting light and then finishing heavy has just always felt good for me. So don't be afraid to experiment in the gym and find something that works for you. We're definitely trying to find how our body works, and you can pull from other people. You can definitely try out some of the stuff that you see me doing here and see if it works for you. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, well, just go back to what you were doing if it felt better, and if you need to find some new techniques, maybe pull from somebody else or just keep asking questions. But don't stop looking. I think the most important thing is that we don't give up hope and that we actually, continue to try to learn and be a student as much as possible. It's always kind of sad when you see somebody that just thinks they've hit their limit and there's no point in trying anymore. But anyway, enough of that tangent. Moving on to some two-handed tricep pushdowns. Something with these that I like to do is I try to focus on pushing the cable straight down instead of in towards my stomach. I find when I push a little bit in towards my stomach, you kind of get a little bit more lat tension rather than tricep. And I think if you're pushing the bar towards you instead of straight towards the floor, you can kind of cheat a little bit more and get a little bit more weight. So it's always good to record yourself and kind of see what your form is looking like, just so you can kind of see how, if a movement's not feeling well, then you might be able to point out exactly why. But this is the last set I recorded here. So we'll just finish off the stack and then go to a drop set. And then after that, I will see you guys in the posing room. All right, so back day is done with a little bit of triceps into the mix. The back part of the workout was great, but the triceps, they were feeling a little fried today, so only did about 6 sets. 2 of the sets I didn't do on camera. They were just a couple of overhead extensions with a dumbbell, nothing crazy. Just enough to get some blood in there, but been having some elbow pain, so we're going to take it easy and not push them too much. It's okay. Sometimes you want to come into the gym and push something as hard as you can, which is a good mentality to have. But if it's feeling like it's going to snap or you're going to make it worse, definitely not worth it. But it is good to get some blood in there. So that's what we did. But I'm eager to see what this pump looks like. So let's take off this sweatshirt. Well, almost lost the mic, but let's see. I also moved over to the other side of the room. My lats are cramping just from flexing. Solid pump for sure. I'm definitely happy with this. I'm just gonna adjust really quick. As you can see though, only with 6 sets of tries, they are not doing too bad. Definitely can't complain with this. No, sir. Ugh. Oh yeah. So as you can see, bulk is going quite well, but I got a little more work to do. I have to hit abs and then eat my post-workout cereal with my protein shake. So after that, I'll see you guys in the car. All right, back is done. Carbs and protein have been consumed. Nothing left to do but head home, eat a final meal, and get all my food ready for tomorrow. And I actually forgot my intra-workout carbs today, and I'm going to blame you guys for not reminding me on my way here to turn around and pick them up. But it's okay. I'll just take them when I get home. Normally, you could do a cluster dextrin shake, but I'll do apple juice instead. I personally like apple juice a lot more, and it's a little bit more affordable. Cluster dextrin's a little bit of a luxury. If it's in my cabinet, I know I'm doing pretty well, but I can't really complain because apple juice, it's apple juice, bro. If you hate apple juice, I don't know what happened to you in your childhood, bro, but my childhood was full of apple juice, I can tell you that. Anyway, solid back workout. I'm sure I went over it at some point during the recap, but my favorite thing to do is repeat myself. So I'm going to repeat myself before I even say it because I haven't recorded the post-workout commentary. But we started with the barbell rows, and if your attention span is better than mine, then you would remember at the beginning of the video I stated that I was going to start with a machine row. When I got to the gym, the machine row that you saw second is what I wanted to start with, and I like starting with that one just because I don't know, I think the tracking on it is perfect for warming up, and I'm not too much of a proponent of pre-exhausting. I don't even necessarily know if I agree with the statement pre-exhaust. To me, it's all factoring in towards the end of the workout. Did I get an absolutely nasty pump? So I wouldn't say I'm putting myself at a disadvantage in the workout by pre-exhausting. If anything, I would say if I started out with the machine rows going into the barbell rows would probably feel better because my lats are already full of blood. That's just the way I see it. At the end of the day, pre-exhaust is just a term for your first movement, you know. But I think if you're doing a movement and you're going to count it and you're treating it as a pre-exhaust, like, you know, this is my first movement, I'm going to count these sets in my workout, but I don't want to go too hard because I don't want to take away from this other movement that I really want to do. I think you're just, at that point, you're just wasting sets. Like, however many pre-exhaustion sets you do, 2 or 3, whenever you thought you were done working out, if you use those sets, as you're not really going all in, throw 2 to 3 sets in at the end of your workout because those first 2 or 3 didn't count. You were just pre-exhausting. And if you're pre-exhausting by not actually exhausting, then you're just warming up. So I think a lot of people, myself included, can sometimes hide behind terms that are often thrown around in bodybuilding or just gym culture in general to like trick themselves, or they think they're tricking other people into that they train harder than they really do, but they're really tricking themselves. They're like, oh yeah, I'll pre-exhaust and then I'll get more out of it. Dude, just first set, go hard as balls, and all the way to the last set, go hard as balls. And once again, people, you know, can mess up hard as balls. As funny as that sounds, there's a saying like, you know, train hard as balls. Every set, I gotta feel like my tendons are gonna snap off. And I've gotta slam the weight so everyone knows I'm training hard as balls. Okay, you can have some slow and controlled sets where you're just pumping blood into the muscle. And you're not necessarily like straining, you know, every rep, you know. There's those people too. Just train hard. Just If you know that you gave your all in your set, fantastic. But you know when your buddy or whoever is like, dude, I trained so hard, like, dude, I couldn't do another rep. And you're like watching them, and you're like, bro, you had 8 more reps. Like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, I swear to God, I didn't. And then you get like behind them, and you're like, keep going, dude, keep going. I got you, spotting you. And they just keep going to infinity and beyond, bro. Buzz Lightyear. They just keep going. They don't stop. And before you know it, what you thought was your 8 rep max weight, you just did double the reps. So you gotta really just go to find failure. And that's the fun part about training, is really testing yourself. Like, what are your limits? Like, what is your breaking point? When do you stop? Do you stop when it starts to get hard? Or do you stop when you physically can't go anymore? Like, we're talking, do as many reps as you can, or your whole family goes bye-bye. How many reps are you going to do? Didn't mean to get all dark on you guys, but I'm just trying to paint a picture for you of how hard you really need to go. So after every single workout, you say, that was the hardest I could have gone. We're going to go even harder tomorrow. It's all about surpassing your limits. And it's about going as hard as you can for the day. If you can go harder than you did the day before, fantastic. If you're lagging a little bit, if you're a little bit sore but you know you can get a good lift in, just go as hard as you can. But if you feel like something's off, something's going to snap, it's never worth it to take a trip to Snap City. So remember that. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble on. And with that being said, I'll see you guys when I see you.